If you get on the phone with somebody at a company prior to a transfer, give a positive escalation. Remember the name of the secretary and use that because it separates you from the 99 other people making those calls. And this is prior to any sort of contract. You're really showing good faith. And so if you just do the thing that we were raised by our parents and grandparents, I think most people will have their common sense and make the right decisions when being an entrepreneur.
Oh, great advice to entrepreneurs. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that you talked about was bonuses, paying out the bonuses for your employees, and from our prep meeting, it you seem to be very caring of your employees, and your call center has arcade games, and so how do you build that employee culture of innovation, engagement, community? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, every company is different. Like if you surround engineers together, they have that in common. We at a call center, it does have a very interesting reputation, especially with what Hollywood has done with the Wolf of Wall Street boiler room and things like that. But they're linguists. They're getting return on investment on their English. So that's a fun environment for them. It's very colorful. The average age of our agents is about 24. So it's young. Okay. It's the new generation. And but what's the bad side of the industry? It's an extremely large attrition rate. People burn out making and receiving phone calls. Just one bad phone call, one FU on a phone could be enough to have someone quit. And so I try to have preventative measures or certain timeouts for people if they've had that sort of situation. But I've used my game room as a happy medium. I'm an avid collector of antique pinball machines, so virtual pinball doesn't count. They're plain old machines from the 70s through the 90s.
Oh,
Plus, I have air
cool.
hockey and Pac-Man and stuff. So instead of isolating themselves on TikTok or Instagram, they're meeting people from other departments instead of having a cigarette. It's hand-eye coordination. They can let off steam, recharge batteries, hang out with me and you. Recess was always the best class of the day anyway. Come on, you know that. And since we're adults, it doesn't mean we can't play. And having what they have at home, like a PlayStation or a Wii or any sort of console, fine, they can compete, but it's nothing unique. I wanted it to be a little different. And so I was just trying to think of other ways to stimulate the employee because most people hate where they work, or they tolerate it, or they try to make the most of it. And so for me, besides investing in their training, which I think is fun because I say it's soft skills they can use outside the office, I walk the rows and I give them mention publicly when necessary. And I'm not going to hit the ball and drag Johnny. I'm not going to color them so they get weak. I need to make sure there's a 45-degree angle so we're constantly moving in a forward direction. And sometimes I'll tell them to sit up in their chair if they're leaning back. I'm like, hey, Yolanda, you need a pillow? And sometimes I'll give them some Philly guilt. Like, come on, I heard you last week. You're out of character today. You're better than this. You call the balls and the strikes. I'm not grilling them every day. But if you're somebody 99 times finds the positive in you, you might listen to me the one time I say, hey, listen, you might have a little mustard right here. And you'll thank me for it because I've earned that sort of respect. And so that's what I try to do slowly. It's readjustments of focus. So at least they move forward because they'll lose their motivation. Sometimes it's tough being a self-starter, but if I can constantly give them quality assurance, listen to their calls and show them, let them listen to themselves, they make that own improvement from self-analysis.
Mhm. That's great. That's great. And call centers do have sometimes not the best reputations. Previously, we've mentioned some about getting hung up on or maybe cursed at or profanity being used by whoever, they're calling. How do you dispel some of those negative associations with telemarketing?
Okay, well, sometimes people sell their soul for a golden fiddle. If you have the skills, you shouldn't compromise your ethics and work at a bad call center that does sweepstakes scams. to the elderly. That's wrong. And so it's like fire. You have the ability to use this power for warmth, for light, cooking food, you name it. Or you can burn someone with it. It's terrible. It's almost like when you were watching 8 Mile with Eminem when they're doing these rap battles. All they try to do is be quick on their feet, clever, and use those words to strike. It's true. I like that. Like in breakdancing, instead of the gangs fighting, they would have a break off. Yeah, like in Breaking and Beat Street. But not Breaking 2. I didn't like that movie, Electric Boogaloo. That was terrible. But my point being is instead of fighting, these people will rap it out. They'll dance it out. And I think that's very nice, clever side to it. But I see it as a cartoon where steam is going out of ears, unless it's directed at me and you. Like if you and I are hanging out and someone says, hey, Yolanda, F you, I'm like, what? But then you're like, Yolanda, this effing place, I can't wait for the food and this and that. And he's just being immature and acting a little stupid. And so if they're cursing at you, they get a warning. Second time, you gotta hang up on them. There's dignity. But if they're doing the ear steam coming out, keep on going. Why? I'm going to make you feel terrible about cursing on the phone. You'll be done F-bombing away. And I'll go, are you done, Yolanda? You sure you don't want to curse a little more? And you're like, oh my God, Richard, did I go, right? You did? And then you go, oh, I'm so sorry. I go, would you like to begin again? And then you will say, yes. And then going from a 10 in a distance, now you're at a 2. And you take that mass which would moved and you move it into your own momentum. And you realize I didn't give you a pass. I let you let off some steam. And you're real. This is not like Hollywood G movies where no one curses and everyone sings in between eating food. I mean, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you stub your toe and something happens. Do you remember the movie A Christmas Story when the guy was changing the tire outside and cursing? And he's like, I never heard these words before. Well, that's real life, my man. That's real life. And so if I can relate to you, maybe I can retain you as a client. Maybe when we're done, you'll give me a referral and say, listen, my little sister who likes to curse too, she might need your services at your company. And I'll go, that's great. And so that's how it works. You sometimes need to break down that fourth wall in Hollywood and see the audience and see real. That's why these shows of the real world, and it makes sense to people. I mean, sometimes they glam it up, but no, I tell you, strangers becomes best friends if they experience something together, even if it's for 5 minutes on a train. They'll never, it's like when those people survive those accidents, they'll keep in touch with each other for the rest of their lives, even though we're strangers prior to that. After that, it's a band of brothers and sisters. And isn't it amazing when you see people that have never met before, but they have something in common, like when someone donates an organ to somebody and then a family member meets that person and they could hear, and then the hugs, or a police officer saves a child's life and then they meet each other like 10 years, 20 years later. No words are spoken. Nothing needs to be spoken, but the embracing and the crying. People try for hours to evoke that emotion out of somebody. And so I think there is an amazing human connection that people have, especially when they're the most vulnerable. You and I could take advantage of it and laugh at somebody when they're breaking down crying. We're not going to treat them like a child, but if you see such emotion in somebody, you have to respect that. Even Rocky cried. And so, I mean, you got to think about these sort of things. I think that's just fine. I think when someone is living true life, being true to themselves, not having a heavy heart, showing real true emotion, it's the strongest thing ever. Did that answer that question?
It did, for being authentic. And yeah, I love that.